Hello and welcome back to this episode of the Peak Results Academy podcast. I'm your host, Rich Fournier. And in this episode, I sit down with an outstanding agent and person, Edna Kimble. Now, Edna is the number one agent in Oklahoma for Century 21. An interesting note is that Edna sells a home every 2.1 days. So you need to listen to this episode. In this episode, Edna discusses how a devastating financial loss was a catalyst for her success and what allows her to maintain that drive when the days get tough. In this episode, she shares very specific morning routines that sets her up for a very productive day, as well as practical advice on getting into real estate with no marketing budget. So make sure you stick around for Edna's must-read book suggestions and her parting advice on truly connecting with your clients. So stay tuned.
Have you ever wondered why some people thrive in all areas of their life? Welcome to the Peak Results Academy podcast with your host, Rich Fournier. Each week, we interview industry experts who consistently dominate in the fields of health, business, and beyond. Our mission is to share their personal struggles and strategies so that you can create your own peak results.
Hello, everybody. Rich Fournier for the Peak Results Academy podcast. I'm your host, and today I'm very excited to have a superstar agent from the U.S. Edna Kimble is with us today. She's the number one Century 21 real estate agent in Oklahoma for the past 5 years. Welcome to the show, Edna.
Thank you, Rich. Good to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. As of course, you may be aware, maybe you haven't been listening to the podcast. Hopefully we'll get you to start listening to the podcast. This podcast is about what creates a peak result in business, life, and health. And today, of course, we're focusing on real estate. And you've been in the game of real estate for a number of years, and you're producing outstanding results. And if you don't mind me just kind of letting the audience know what you're up to. I mean, last year in 2019, you closed 188 units by yourself.
Well, with a really wonderful
admin stuff,
full-time assistant. Yes, my admin. She makes sure that there's gas in the car and food in my stomach. So,
well, let's be honest. 188 units it's extraordinary. I know teams aren't even doing 100 units. Never mind 188 units individually. Please take how I'm going to ask this question the right way. What makes you so special?
So there's no secret sauce. There's no secret. I do work a ton. I work a lot of hours. So I'm just going to put that right out there. I'm at a unique time frame in my life where, the kids are out of the house. My husband loves tennis and works a lot also. So he stays busy. And I really just enjoy what I do. So it doesn't feel like work. Most of the time. So I work a lot of hours. That's a key component.
How long have you been in the game?
16 years.
16 years. And did you come out of the gate swinging and winning, or was it a challenge in the beginning?
I had no clue what I was doing. In the beginning, I would deem myself as a tour guide. I thought my job, they would call, I would answer the phone at the office, and it was a little brokerage, and there were like two sisters and me, and one of the sisters owned the brokerage, and they would be like, do you want floor time? And I'd be like, yes. And the phone would ring, and they'd say, how much is the house? And I'd say 109. And they'd say, okay, thank you. And I'd say, you're welcome. Bye. Like I had no concept of capture and what to say and what not to say. So no, the first year, I didn't really do any production, so to speak. So, yeah.
What was the turning point for you, Edna?
So the turning point, I kind of ran along like that for about 4 years, and another brokerage came into our small market and opened up, and I was the top producer in this really small town. Our town is 16,000 people. And so they recruited me, and they had built-in training, phone training that you had to do before you took the floor. And I was like, what? I'm supposed to be asking the client questions instead of them just getting the information from me. And so that was a big help, just getting some training. And then I ran along. I was the number one producer at that office, and then I ran along for a few years, and my family, we had like a major devastating loss, and all of our income overnight was gone. And I was like, oh, so this isn't going to be playtime anymore. This
Right.
is the real deal. I mean, this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And I actually joined coaching under Tom Ferry.
Yep.
And that was just such a game changer to me to have that, because I had the motivation. I just didn't have the methods or the systems in place. So I just, was kind of all over the place, and they really helped me streamline. And that was where things really took off.
So you had someone who knew what they were doing to show you what to do. Yes,
Exactly. And then, and so I did really, really well. And I got to the point of just almost burnout, where I was just hitting a roadblock at doing 145 units by myself. And my coach just kept pushing me, get an assistant. And I was like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to hire an assistant. And he was just like, you're stupid. You have to get an assistant.
So I'm just trying to understand. So, okay, let's just go back for a second. Most of our listeners understand the idea of 144, 100, and whatever hundreds of transactions a year. The average, my context I'll give you. So on the Toronto Real Estate Board, it's the largest real estate board in the world. We have close to 60,000 agents on the board. 25% of them do 0 deals a year. Maybe the top 5% are teams. Most are doing, on average, I'd say maybe 6 deals a year. Now, our average resale is $1 million.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, but cost of living is expensive. I mean, how does someone scale 188 units? But how do you even find that number of people to transact with and to grow that database? And how are you generating all of this business? Never mind, I don't even know what your day looks like. It's got to be insane.
Well, when I moved to Tahlequah and started my real estate career, I didn't know anyone. And so, like I said, the first year or two, I just was a tour guide answering questions. And then when I had to double down and get serious about it, I just started holding open houses. And I'm much better in person. So sometimes I'm a little snarky on the phone because I think I'm funny, but apparently it doesn't come across as funny. So I'm better in person. So I thought, okay, I'm better in person. So I just started holding every other realtor's open house that I could possibly get my hands on, because I had no inventory. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I just became the queen of open houses. And every weekend, every Saturday, every Sunday, I did some twilight open houses through the week, for some of the higher end homes, and bought a few cheap bottles of sparkling water to class it up a little. I had no budget, had no money, but I knew if I could just meet people and figure out what they needed and give it to them, then it would take care of me. And that's really, it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. I took care of the client, and they in turn took care of me. It is a small town, 16,000 people, but I've sold some homes 5 and 6 times because we're a unique market where we have a college and 2 hospitals. So a lot of people move here for 2 to 4 years. And if I do right by them when they move in, and then I keep in touch and I'm their go-to person for, where do I get my hair done? Where's the best daycare? Where's the church I should go to? That kind of thing. I just kind of try to be, their welcome committee and help them. And then when they get ready to resell, of course they're going to call me, and then they're going to tell all their friends too. So,
and so are you still doing open houses? Is that your primary source of business today?
We still do more open houses than anyone else. We probably do a minimum of 3 a month. And when I say 3, I mean 3 weekends, because my team also sets those open houses with me. So we average about 7 to 8 open houses a month.
So you mentioned team. So you did those transactions by yourself with your assistant, but then you also have an outside team as well?
That's correct, yes. So the brokerage that I'm with is Century 21, and they have some real strict guidelines about crossover and everything. So my numbers are completely separate from theirs. So basically I'm a team leader, they go out, they show the home, they write the contract, they take care of the client, but I get a portion of the funds, but I don't get a portion of the transaction in the speak of the 188 had nothing to do with them. The team last year did 79 units.
And how many people on that team?
3.
Okay. Still great business.
Yeah, absolutely. And, not a bad side gig for me for the income.
Right.
Yeah.
And wow. And can we, if we don't mind, what drives you every day to perform at that level? That's a high level. It's not like you're doing, 20 deals a year and, making some money, but the amount of work that's necessary on a day-to-day activity to create that is tremendous. So what drives you?
I think the connection to the client really helps motivate, because there's days like anyone else where I'm like, I don't want to go. And then I think, but she really needs that house sold because of her situation.
Yep.
And, when I feel like when you commit to that seller and you sign that listing agreement, what is really best for the client? And I keep going back to that. And there's even clients that after you spend some time with them and everything, maybe you feel like what they're wanting from you is not really realistic. And that does affect it a little bit. But ultimately, and this is what I preach to the team, when you sign that listing agreement, the number one thing is what is best for the client. And if you just keep doing that over and over again, it's going to come back. So that's really important to me. And I am super competitive. So I like to be number one.
Okay. So I don't think people talk about that enough. It's, they're altruistic and we love our clients. And of course you have to, or else you can't perform, and you have to do what's best for them, or else you won't get repeat business.
Right.
But that competitive nature within you is strong.
It is. I have notifications turned on. Our market is so hot right now that I just I giggle a little bit when a realtor sends me, like this morning, today's Monday morning, and I've had a few texts going, can I show that home on Thursday? And I'm like, sure you can, because I'm going to sell it today. I mean, who wants to, in this market, if you were trying to set up appointments for 4 days from now, you don't know, you are so clueless. I mean, that's just crazy. So so I'm super competitive in that way.
And do you still do the traditional means of prospecting, like farming and mail drops and door knocking? And is that what your...
So door knocking has not ever been my strong suit, because I really try to double down on open houses and let them come to me. Yep. Because my thought is, you came to me, so now you're stuck with me. Once I get your info on your sign-in sheet, you came to me, so you just gave me permission. Whereas door knocking does feel a little bit, I don't know. I mean, pushy. It's not to say I've never done it, and in some circumstances, I think it's really important to do it. But also right now with the pandemic, it's not it wouldn't be taken well, I don't think. So
I agree with you completely. Do you get involved in the internet a lot? Internet-driven leads, Zillow, Trula?
Yeah, we do Zillow. We're really, really low spend on Zillow, though. I don't put a bunch of money behind Zillow leads. And the majority of ours is actually social media. We do a ton on social media, Facebook and Instagram. So.
Wow. Okay. And when you are trying to motivate your group, do you have them involved in your coaching with your coach as well, or are you just leading them?
Yeah, to an extent. My coach is pretty phenomenal. She's from Mexico City, and she's a dual citizen, and she's written books and been in a triathlon. And I mean, she's just someone I want to be her, so she gets me all fired up, and then I come back and kind of just repeat everything she said. But she also offers, we meet once a week, through Zoom. And then she offers several courses throughout the week that the team is welcome to do. But for the most part, we have a team meeting once a week, every Tuesday morning. And then I also meet with each one of them individually for an hour each week. And it's usually at 7:30 a.m. I make them come in. So because it has to be uninterrupted. It can't be, oh, there's a call for you. Oh, this client's in the lobby. So 7:30 to 8:30, they know which day of the week, and I come in and meet with them.
Let me ask you a question. The churn rate in real estate is so high, right? You're losing agents every day. 90% churn rate, maybe over 5 years. What was the difference between you and some of those agents that just decided to run away from the game?
I needed the money. I had to make it work. I mean, to be honest with you, it was such a low threshold to get in that I think I took it as a kind of more of a hobby or something fun. And then when my family's financial stability fell apart and I had to make it work, it was the only thing that I had available to me. So I think that was the thing that drove me, is I've got to make this work. I've got to make some money. So, yeah.
How do you not get distracted with other opportunities? Because I'm sure people come to you with other opportunities. And how do you stay so focused on your game? Because as an optimist, which I'm sure you are, you have to be in this game, you see other opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. Well, my husband I always say I'm not a gambler, but I married a gambler. And I don't mean like he won't spend any money at the casino, but every opportunity is just waiting for him to jump on it. And so we balance each other out really well. We have 30 rental units and 2 Airbnbs, and he's phenomenal. Like he's probably over there right now changing sheets and doing dishes. So that has been the biggest thing. So yeah.
Okay. What advice can you give to an agent today that's starting to really attain the level that you are currently experiencing?
Scale the business through systems. It's the only way. Things should run whether you're in the office or not. Everyone should know what the next step is. Automate as much as you can. And if it's a $9 an hour task, don't do it. Pay someone to do it. Okay.
If you were to start today then, and you don't have any business and there's nothing to scale, what would you do today?
I would hire a coach. And I would go double down on open houses.
So let's go there. In today's market, and we have to, a month ago, I was saying, let's forget about COVID. We can't forget about COVID, right? I thought, we'll just get through this and we'll focus business as usual. But open houses have just started opening up again here in our market. So what if open houses don't exist anymore?
We never quit. When things shut down here, we continued open houses virtually.
Virtually, okay.
Yeah, so we would go to the home. We would market it, open house virtually at this time. We would go live and we would talk nonsense for 15 to 20 minutes. So we never left, because the client will do what is in the client's best interest. And the first name or number or face that pops in front of them is who they're going to go with. So you've got to stay in front of those clients. And again, when you sign that listing agreement, if your client is trying to sell during a pandemic, you better know, how to do video. That's exactly, so we didn't quit doing that, and we won't stop doing it. I mean, we did, face masks, we had the alcohol wipes, we did foot booties, we did everything we could to keep the client's home safe. But if they put their home in the market in a pandemic, they really need to sell, and we took that serious. So
I agree. What about the agents who don't have any inventory, and the agents that do have inventory don't want to share the inventory because the client doesn't want other people through the house because of COVID? What's the best way for them to generate business going forward?
I would say to reach out to their sphere of influence, get on social media, be in front of them and say, I'm here to help. What do you need? And let the clients tell you what they need. If they, I think making people aware this is an opportunity to sell your home and I can do it. I think people, when the lockdown first happened, everyone just kind of froze up, and we just kept putting information out in front of them and keeping it light, but letting them know that we're taking it seriously, you know. So we did just a bunch of light-hearted but serious videos, you know, like where we're wearing masks and we would greet each other with a foot tap, you know, just little things to let them know we're serious about keeping you safe, but we're still out there and working for you. And so I think letting the client know that you can move forward and you can be safe with it.
That's right. That's right. Are there any strategies that you're looking into today that show any promise for you?
I am looking to hire another assistant. So I'm feeling like my systems can get even better and more specific. And I think that when I say automation, I think that it's really important that when I close a transaction, that client is followed up with numerous times, and it shouldn't just be on my Google Calendar because it's too easy to let it slide by. So I'm looking for an additional assistant to make sure that we stay on top, you know, kind of the client experience. And I do think that that's going to be really important going forward, because when I greet someone and the first time they meet me, I'm this, you know, it's really hard to make that connection. And so I think that, you know, to give them that special client experience, we've got to do even more now than ever.
Yeah, I completely agree. And when you look at agents today, were there a lot of agents in your community just clamping down and not showing their face out there during the pandemic?
Absolutely. Yes. I'm going to say 98% of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that exposure can never stop.
Right.
Ever. In whatever you do, right? It's front and center all the time because there's so many mechanisms and there seems to be so much competition today. I know in our markets it's extremely competitive, and unless you're front and center and always, always, always present, someone else will take your spot really fast.
That's absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah. If you were to start today, do you need money to start in the real estate game today? There's no full time anymore. People aren't in the office anymore. Like,
not really.
Oh, okay.
I really don't believe that, because going live on Facebook, you know, that doesn't cost anything. And believe me, my video is not high end or polished or anything. It's literally, I did invest in I don't even know what it's called, but it holds the camera and steadies it. I can't even think of it. I'm not a techie person, but I know where to find the stuff. But you don't have to have that. Literally a Dollar General, you know, selfie stick is what we started with. And I bought one for all the team and spent a whopping $15 for 4 of them, you know. So, and it swivels and it moves and sometimes it falls. And I do think that the public really does appreciate just the genuineness behind it, and the fact that we're real and we're just out there. I don't think that you have to be super duper polished, because I'm not, and it's still okay. Yeah.
That's right. Is there a process that you follow on a daily basis to keep your mindset in such a strong place?
Yes, I think that it's really, really important. Like, I'm an early morning person. I bought into Miracle Morning. I don't know if you're familiar with that book or not. Yeah, absolutely. And so I get up at 4:28 a.m. I can't remember what the time, why 4:28, but I don't know. I can't remember why, but I do the 4:28 a.m. And then at 5 a.m. I have a Miracle Morning call where there's just a group of people in the industry. It's some mortgage people, realtors. You don't have to be in any specific, and a different person takes the lead, and it's just a 5-minute kind of things to reflect on, or motivational 5 minutes at 5 a.m. And then 3 days a week I have yoga classes at 5:30 a.m. And then the other 3 days a week, then I work out at the gym with a trainer, not to be bulky or anything like that, but just to be healthy. And then Sunday, I usually chase grandbabies around, so that helps.
So you're very regimented in your process.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I get weird when I get off schedule. Yeah.
Right. So you're not drinking a bottle of wine at nighttime after work.
No, I tried that years ago, and the later I have a theory that nothing happens that's super productive after 9 p.m. at night. And the people who say, well, I just can't get up that early because I've got all this stuff going at night. And when I really kind of drill them on what is exactly are you doing at 9 o'clock at night, it usually is drinking or watching trash TV. And I'm like, yeah, that's not, and they try to disguise it by, well, I've got to stay up and do laundry. I've got to help the kids with homework. And I'm like, yeah, if you're helping your kids at homework at 9 p.m., you might have started too late. So yeah, I give them a little pushback on that if they use those as excuses. But having that early morning was a game changer for me. And I'm usually in the office by 7:30. So I have, typically an hour or two before people start coming in, and it makes a big difference on how much I can get accomplished.
Do you set a specific time that you prospect daily for new clients, or are you beyond that now?
I wouldn't say that we're ever beyond prospecting, but in the sense of taking an hour to call clients to bring them in, I don't do that. Mine is more following up with past or present clients to make sure. I believe that if a client has to contact me and say, hey, where are we at in the process, then I've failed them. And that's something that why I need another assistant to make sure that that's not ever happening. So I wouldn't say that I'm prospecting in the old sense of cold calling or anything like that. I've got the business, that's why I brought on a team. So anyone that I've worked with in the past, I keep. Any new clients calling from a sign from Zillow, then I feed that to the team.
There's an interesting difference between, real estate's very common, like the way transaction works is it's pretty much the same. I don't care what country we are in, Canada, United States. But the numbers that the top producers in the US are producing at individually, they're way above and beyond what we're producing up here. And I have not been able to figure out why. What is the difference? Why does someone like you do 188 units where, top teams are doing that? They're doing 150 units with 12 people. So I have not been able to figure out what is the difference and why is someone producing at that level. I talked to a guy, Kyle Seaboth, who did over 500 units with 9 admin staff.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
That's impressive. Yeah.
And and most of the, and women are killing it in the US, better than men. On average, like the ladies that we're interviewing are 150 plus transactions by themselves. And I have not been able to pinpoint why that is happening because we don't see that up here. We see teams selling those kind of numbers, but not individuals. So any insight you can give us as to why that's happening there? Is the competition less? 16,000 people in your market. How many agents are there?
I think there were 115 last time I checked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But you look at our market within what's called the Greater Toronto Area, which is, say, a big 2-hour radius. Maybe you're 5-6 million people somewhere there. I can't remember the exact number, but it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of agents too.
Yeah.
And they're not producing at that level, not at your level. And I can't figure it out. Any insights?
Not really. I don't know what the difference. The thing here is if we only did 6 units, we might as well get out because our medium price point is like 130,000.
130,000 per property. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, obviously I've got, I just closed a $700,000 transaction, last week, but again, the median, those are few and far between, those higher end ones. So you have to do a lot of units, to put money in the bank. Yeah.
It's an extraordinary difference in pricing here versus there, and it makes me want to move to the US.
I know a good realtor.
Maybe joining your team.
There you go.
Are there any books that my listeners should be listening to today, or listening to audiobooks or reading?
Oh, wow. I am a junkie when it comes to audiobooks. There are so many. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think that's really important. It kind of gets you in the mindset of, you're a CEO. I think one of the first things my coach said to me, she was like, how much production did you do last year? And I think that year I'd done maybe, I don't know, say 20 million. And so she said, so when someone says, what do you do? What do you say? And I said, well, I'm a realtor. And she was like, no, you're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. And I was like, and then she said, are you acting like a CEO? And I was like, oh my gosh. And it just kind of blew my mind. So, and so I liked Rich Dad, Poor Dad because I think it helps you with the mindset that this is a business and tracking your numbers and seeing how many, captures and what each deal costs. I think there's some real validity to doing that.
Right. Operating like a business, not just a single.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I appreciate you very much. One last piece of advice for our listeners. Who do they need to be to perform at your level?
Who do they need to be? Oh gosh. I don't know who they, I mean, they have to be themselves for the clients to really buy in. I feel like clients will, the secret sauce, if you will, is they have to like you and they have to trust you. And if you can't get them to like you and trust you, then you're wasting your time. So I think just being your authentic self and bringing those clients in that get you is really important, and then taking care of them. And then just having a strong why. My granddaughters are my why. I want to give them kind of everything, but I'm also the toughest person on them, So I think having a strong why and then getting regimented in your day-to-day tasks is important. That was all over the place, but yeah.
No, it's amazing. No, because you know what I'm seeing, that there is no secret. The secret is being absolutely committed and engaged and being disciplined in the process that you're aiming towards. You're not getting pulled off, sidetracked. You're absolutely legitimately focused on an outcome. And if you don't like the transaction of real estate, then don't be in the game.
Absolutely. I was writing an offer this weekend, countering an offer, and I really wanted to put in there that my seller would accept. There's a spider, sorry. There we go. Okay. I really wanted to put in there that the seller would accept the offer if the realtor would give up their license, because she was doing such a bad job for her client. She was just worried about getting her commission. And I just was kind of appalled by that. So I agree with you. If you don't like the process, get out and let the rest of us do it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And thanks for being such an amazing role model and leader for all of us. And hopefully one day I can perform at your level as well.
Awesome, Rich. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you like what you've heard and you're interested in seeing if you are fit to work with Peak Results Academy, here's what I want you to do next. Head over to peakresultsacademy.com/call. That's peakresultsacademy.com/call and book an appointment to speak with our team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 45 minutes and get you crystal clear on 3 things. Number 1, what do you really want out of life and your business? Number 2, what is not working for you today? And number 3, the exact strategy you should be using to create massive change in these areas. Remember, changing your life and creating massive results does not happen by itself. You need expert guidance to make it happen. We're helping clients all over the world create peak results in their health, in their businesses, and in their personal lives. To see if we can help you do the same, head over to peakresultsacademy.com/call. We'll chat soon.